Did you know that nearly 500,000 hip replacements are done every year in the US? But here's the good news. Many of them can be avoided with the right approach. If you're dealing with hip arthritis, stiffness, or pain, you don't have to wait until it's bad enough for surgery. In this video, I'll walk you through 3 phases we use with our clients to avoid hip replacements, plus a bonus tip that can speed up your recovery dramatically. So our first phase that we always focus on is mobility. Because if you can't move, then you're not going to be able to activate things correctly. And so that's what we're going to talk about first. But a step before that, if you are so inflamed, then sometimes mobility is not the first step that we take. And we'll talk about a device that we use that's really given us amazing results, especially when people are really flared up, but also when they're not. But let's go back into mobility. So again, if my hip can't move, especially into like hip extension, you're not going to get these muscles to fire. And let's just say the most important piece is getting your glutes to fire. It is where we have problems with everyone. Like when we bring people in and we're looking at things, we're trying to get their glutes to fire. It's the hardest thing that we ask clients to do because it's so hard for them to find it and to feel it. But if you don't get them the glutes firing, then you're going to have imbalances. And when you have imbalances where you're feeling everything in the front because we can't get anything in the back to fire, you're going to have imbalances within that joint, and you're going to be using more of, you're going to have more issues in the front side of that joint, which is really common for total hip replacements. When people have a lot of issues, it's usually in the front because everything in the front is overworking and nothing in the back is working. And so we really need that balance. So we've got to get that mobility back first. And so usually it's people can't move their hip into hip extension. You've got to be able to move your hip extension to really get those glutes to fire. If you can't, because even when I bring my hips forward and get these glutes to fire, that hip has to be able to move. That leg has to be able to move backwards. That hip has to be able to move forwards. Otherwise, you're going to have problems. So a stretch that you can do, super easy, just to be, there's more aggressive stretches that you can do, but you can put your one leg on the bed and then have one leg up. So this would be the leg that you want to work. And you can just start coming up to really stretch through that hip joint. This is really an easy one to do. There's more aggressive ones. Everyone's a little bit different on what they can tolerate. That's where an evaluation comes into play that we can do so that we can tailor it to you and what you can and can't do. But I'm going after the easy one because it's going to be a little bit easier for most people to do this versus some other ones that we've done. So again, you'll just come up and you'll just breathe. And you'll really just kind of stretch that hip back so that we can get that joint to kind of help open up. We get stiff, especially as we get older. We get really stiff in the joints, in the hip joints, because what do? We're always sitting, we're always bending, the joint is always in this position. We never take the joints backwards, and so it's really important to work on doing some of those things. So that's the mobility stretch. You can start with that one. And then the next phase is stability. We always say mobility before stability. This phase, you really want to just get those muscles to fire without anything, like isometrically fire. And the key to get them to fire, we can start them out sitting, we can start out lying down, but we don't want the quads to fire. We want only the glutes to fire, because if you get the quads firing with the glutes, then again, we want to get this to be able to fire without anything working on in the front part of that leg. So if you sit here, you're going to like squeeze the glutes in the back, and then come back up. Now, your legs can move because you're gonna, when you squeeze, your hips are gonna move out kind of like this. So this is a great way of doing it, and I want you to hold it because I want you to feel it, because a lot of times holding it and relaxing, we need these muscles to be working all the time. And so we want to work this muscle in an endurance type way. So you'll just squeeze and hold and make sure that you're just relaxing the front parts of the leg. You really want to feel it in the back. If this isn't working, you can also do it lying down. Same kind of thing, lie down flat and you're just gonna squeeze the glutes. Again, trying to relax this part, so we don't wanna like squeeze and get the muscles in the front to fire. You're literally just gonna think of relaxing here, squeeze those glutes together, and you wanna hold it. When you hold it, you're gonna hold it 5, 10, 15 seconds. The longer, the better on this, because we really, again, we wanna work on endurance. So working on endurance means you wanna hold it. And so these are the first phases. So anytime we see people and they come into the office, we always check the mobility, then we check the stability. So there's other exercises we look at to see what is weak in through there, but the glutes are the number one thing, man. It's why we have issues in the knees. It's why we have issues in the hips, because there's a lot of imbalances through there. So we get a lot of issues in the front parts of the knees, a lot of issues in the front parts of the hip, because all of this is working and the back side of our muscles, those glutes, are not working. So it's really, really important to work on those. So the next phase that we go into is really the activation phase with movement. So now we know how it feels. We get the glutes firing. Now we need to get the glutes firing with movement. So I'm going to give you one that's a partial weight bearing one. I like this one because it really makes you use those muscles, and it really gets you to relax the front parts of the muscles. So you'll be like 90-90 up against a wall, and this leg will be straight. And so what you're gonna do is you're gonna push into the wall and you're gonna pull down. So I'm pulling down with my foot, but my foot's actually not gonna move. So when I go in, I'm gonna tuck a little bit to make sure that I'm gonna get the back of the muscles to fire. It relaxes the front parts of the muscles. I'm gonna kind of push into the wall, and I'm gonna pull down, and I'm gonna lift up. So I can really start working on getting those. You'll get the hamstring attachment and you'll feel it in that glute. Same thing, I want you to hold it. Hold it 10 seconds. It's gonna be a little bit like harder than the isometric because we're actually adding movement. But now we're just trying to get these muscles to fire with movement. So you tuck, so we really make sure we get the back side of the muscles working. It relaxes the front side. We're gonna push into the wall and pull down as we lift up. And then just kind of hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. Make sure you're breathing through this. I'm breathing because I'm talking, but make sure that you're breathing as you're kind of holding these this exercise. You should feel it in the glute and you'll feel it in the hamstring. And so again, a really good exercise to work on. Another one you can do is that's going to be a little bit more functional too is where we're standing. So functional exercises are when our feet are on the ground and we're doing exercises, but we can start out with our feet on the ground. Turn out your feet. Knees are going to be slightly bent. And again, you're going to squeeze the glutes and try to relax the front parts of these legs to get them to fire. Again, holding them 5, 10, 15 seconds and then relaxing. But now we're getting the glutes to fire with our feet on the ground. It's definitely harder than, you'll feel them more than when you're on the table or when you're sitting. This is a harder version of them. And so again, holding these, we want to hold in 5, 10, 15 seconds because we want to work on endurance to get those muscles so you can really feel those muscles so we can get things firing. So those are really our 3 phases. Then we can get into a lot more functional stuff, but those are the beginning phases of what we do. Now, the bonus tip is how we use Shockwave. Now, there are times that our hips, very, very common, will get very fibrous in that tissue, and it's really hard to get those muscles to activate. And so we use the Shockwave to basically get rid of the issues within the tissue so that we can get those muscles to activate. And if you have anything that's happening within the bone, like even into the hip joint itself, we can use focused Shockwave and go all the way through the hip joint and hit the bone to start revascularizing some of those areas that don't have a good blood supply, which is why it's hurting. So this really has been able to help a lot of our clients, get their muscles to activate. So if there's no issues within the hip joint itself, it's just trying to get those hip muscles to fire, then we use it in a little bit of a different way where we're using focus to like go through that tissue to get that tissue revascularized, knock out any of the fibrous areas in that tissue, which then will allow those muscles to fire a lot better and you'll feel a lot better. All of a sudden you'll get the backside to to relax. And then we also work on doing Shockwave all on the front side, because this is always taking over. And when we do that balance of things, that hip feels so much better. It loosens everything up. We can get things to activate properly. So that's how we use it. And if you have some degenerative like bone and a little bit more arthritis, we can use it in a way that will actually hit that bone to start revascularizing it to make you feel better, so that we can then again get those muscles to fire. So that's how we use Shockwave to really help our clients feel better and avoid that total hip replacement. So if you've been told you need a hip replacement, don't wait until it's too late. With the right approach, you can restore mobility, strength in your hips, and get back to doing what you love without surgery. At mPower Physical Therapy, we specialize in helping people avoid hip replacements every single day. And if you want to learn more, click on the link in the description to sign up and schedule for a free discovery visit to see if this program is right for you. And don't forget, hit the like button and subscribe for more tips, and share this video with someone who's been struggling with hip pain.